welcome to the Builders Club. I'm happy to be back with you this morning. It's a beautiful day in Georgia, and thank you so much, all of you, for your birthday wishes. And I want to talk today about something that everybody likes to talk about. One of the things I've noticed when we have a Builders Forum or a Builders Club, or you're talking to leaders, the question always comes up, which book should I read? There's so many books out there. And so many people are reading books. Well, I want to just drill down into that subject just for a few minutes. We can gain the knowledge, but without application, it's of no value. So knowledge plus application of the knowledge equals success. So let's talk about that for a few minutes. How to have confidence and power dealing with people. It's by Les Giblin. I've literally worn out at least 2 or 3 of these books. This one looks a little rough around the edges. I've used this book long before I started in this business, in my other business, learning to deal with people. The skill of dealing with people is one of the most valuable skills that any person, not just in business, but in your personal life, your family life, everywhere that you are with people, that skill is always so valuable to you. See, when you first start out working on dealing with people, and I don't know if you've been in this for a number of years, like some of you have, and you've practiced your self-improvement, you've read books, you've worked on these subjects, I want to start with one of the beginning principles that we need to always go back to. And this is one that I have to remind myself on a regular basis. The first person that we learn to gain knowledge about is the man or the woman in the mirror. That's the person that's going to make the difference. Because you see, you can learn all about other people, but if you've got a little bit of doubt about yourself and your confidence is not there and you don't see your value, you're going to have a very hard time helping others see their value. So I want us to use principle number 1. Let's self-improve with the man or the woman in the mirror. Let's take an inventory of where we think we might need to work. And I want to repeat, it doesn't matter how long you've done this, how many books you've read, how long you've built businesses. Every one of us need to be reminded frequently about our own self-value and what we bring to the table. Then we can accomplish what we want to accomplish. Number 2 part of dealing with people that makes a huge difference is understanding the value of a smile. That, people react to your face. I've told people many times, and I've had it said to me, if you're happy, let your face show it. Show it with that wonderful smile that God gave you. And sometimes in the heat of life, in the day-to-day activities, we may not feel like smiling at that moment, but when you practice that and make that a part of how you react to yourself and to others, the smile will go a long ways in dealing with people. And the third thing that I want to mention is that when you read a book, and you're probably going to get this book to read, you've probably got a shelf full of things, other books that you've asked leaders about that they've given you. It doesn't matter what you're reading. When you take that book in your hands to learn from it, have a pen and a paper and write down the skills that you see that apply to you, that you can focus on. Learn the skills and learn to apply them immediately. Go out. I know that years ago I started reading and doing some work in this position, and I was reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I took that book and started, every time I would read, I'd write 2 or 3 little notes to myself, and I would remind myself of what he said you need to do to win friends and influence people. And then I would start practicing those. If you'll take 1 or 2 of those things you learn and practice it every day for about a week, then it becomes more yours. It becomes something that you relate to, that you do more naturally. And then you remind yourself, as you add things to your list, you go back and remind yourself, did I practice this week? Did I act in this nature? Did I smile a lot? Was I a little bit grumpy? Was I too short when I answered people? Folks, we're human beings, and that's why we're into the self-improvement business. I want this team to know that we're headed into a time in Primerica that's unprecedented. The company is, and I can't even describe why I feel this way or the details about it, but I spent a lot of time this past year around Glenn and his people and what they're doing. And we talked yesterday after the meeting. I was in the green room and we had lunch with Glenn. And Glenn said that as he goes into this leadership conference, and we go into the first of this year, he wants to ask the leadership of Primerica to let's be introspective about what's been done right. Let's focus on what this company has accomplished, and more importantly, let's focus on what we have accomplished. Let's focus on the great things we've done in our life to make our life better, and then let's focus on how we can take that out to the market, to numbers of people. And that means following the rhythm of the fundamentals, to follow exactly what Art Williams laid out. You get in the business and you recruit 3 people right away, and then you help those people recruit 3. How simple is that? And if we stop and start thinking about, well, how do I overcome the objections? How do I make sure that I can go out and recruit people? Let me tell you, when you start overthinking those things, you go into more of a negative mindset, and then you're not that magnet anymore. I want you to go to the question of what is so great about this business that I want to share it with people. What has it done in my life? What do I expect it to do in my life? And when you focus on those things, the knowledge you gain from the reading that you do and understanding human nature will have a much greater effect on your life. So number one, you're going to look at yourself for what you've accomplished and not critically. And then you're going to look at what you can do for others to make them see it more effectively. Gaining the knowledge of skills with people is the most valuable knowledge that you can gain. I would tell you that I would spend some time in this holiday season reflecting on what I've done in that regard. I would go to the places that has influenced me the most, has inspired me the most, has caused me to change my habits. I would go to those places for a little while and remind myself of what got me excited about working with people, about building a business. Because as we go into the year 2024, building your company within a company, building your legacy should be your main focus. This is a business where you can literally build a family business that can go on for generations. And we never know when we're going to hit that sweet spot with a human being that makes them say, man, I want to do this. I want to be better. I want to follow that leader. What she or he said to me today inspired me to become the best version of myself that I can be. That's what we ultimately want to do. We want to be the best version of ourselves, but we want to inspire people to become the best version of themselves. Folks, I pray that you will take this very seriously. We're in a moment where learning these skills and improving these skills can change not just your life, but thousands of others. I'm so happy to be in business with you. Thank you so much for joining the Builders Club every week, and for being totally supporting this program we're doing. We want to make sure we share this with the people we care about and our people that we're working with, because the knowledge we gain from each other is extremely valuable.